Sports on Tap Detroit, brought to you by Tap and Barrel Grill, the Realtors of the Joe Wright Group, Jason Stiltner of Flagstar Bank, Baldman Entertainment.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
We are tonight's entertainment.
We're here to fuck shit up.
Sports the way it should be. Nothing sugar-coated, with loaded with all the information you wanted. From legends to prospects, nothing's off limits. Chris and Joe be taking on all topics with no stopping. They keep it rolling and going and ball hopping at a rate that's hard stopping. With news that's jaw dropping, they're getting it in. Sports Center competition, man, they in it to win. This ain't a fluke, from Carolina to Duke, from MSU to Michigan. You'll know if you listening, if you ain't, you missing it. All the excitement, they shock like a thundercloud and rock of lightning. Get it together, you know ain't nobody better. Bring heat than cold weather. You better put on a sweater, you better just let it go and all come and attack. Sit back, relax, let's tell them it's on tap.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
The Bills make me wanna shout. Kick your heels up and shout. Throw your hands up and shout. Throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now.
All right, so two people were happy about that, myself and Alicia. So thank you. I knew you wouldn't let us down. So I appreciate it. I'm sure she.
I know I told you I wouldn't do it, but
I know.
I mean,
yes.
You knew I'd do it.
Yes. So we both appreciate that. With that, welcome to
Alicia's welcome. You're not.
Well, thanks. It's real nice of you. Welcome to episode 162 of Sports on Tap Detroit, alongside Joe Waddell. I am Chris Scott. Joe, how are you?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. It's been a hell of a weekend in the first couple days of the week, but you know, plugging on through, and it's going to get better.
We got Baldman himself.
Oh shit! Look at that.
Yeah.
He said, "Gentlemen, been a minute." Yes, it has. Well, I mean, I talk to you quite often, Steve, but yes, it's been a minute that you've checked in on the show. So appreciate it, brother.
Yeah. Good to have you. Good to have you joining us.
Good to have one of our sponsors joining us.
Yeah.
And listening along.
Baldman Entertainment. Again, for any one of your DJ needs, by all means, give him a call. He will definitely take care of you. So.
Yeah, he does a great job, man. He's a lot of fun. So check him out. While we're talking about him, we're going to do the read later on, but go to sotdet.com, click on Baldman, the Baldman Entertainment logo, and it'll take you right to his site, and you can see everywhere that he's going to be DJing, which I know he's got a lot of gigs coming up. So a lot of giggity gigs coming up.
Yes, he does,
and you know he's got a full list coming up. So definitely go check him out.
Absolutely. Anyways, well, shit. Since you brought us in with the Bills touchdown song, may as well get into that game.
Yeah, hold on.
Let's go Buffalo. Let's go Buffalo. Let's go Buffalo. Let's go Buffalo.
I mean,
all right. Now you got two of them. You're fucking welcome.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Since it was the marquee game of the week. Let's be real here. It was, and like we talked about last week, I think it should have been flexed into a Sunday night or Monday night game. It wasn't. Whatever. 4:25 game, and it felt like a playoff game. It really did. You know, with the CBS crew there. And just the atmosphere there, you could tell it. You could even hear it over the like on television how into it that crowd was. So, and you know, for the game to go as it did, with the Bills coming out on top, obviously I'm happy about it. It's a win, but I'm not overly excited about it because you know what? Do it in January. That's the only way I look at it. Do it in January.
We have a couple other check-ins here. We have Mr. Long said, "Good to listen to you all. Best regards from Hurricane Sarasota." Yeah, I hope everybody's doing all right down there. It's been a hell of a few months for everybody down in Florida.
No doubt.
He says, "I cannot believe the Detroit Lions. Much respect." Yeah, I mean, I know we're going to get into them later, but yeah, I mean, they're definitely they're one of the best teams in the NFL, if not the best team right now, but we'll get into that in a little bit. And then Eric says he got the dance. I'm hoping that means you got the dance on video. I'm hoping you recorded it this time because
Yes,
if
we
that's the
need
case, I need to get that video from you, and I'm putting that up on the website, the Facebook page. It's going to be Let's Go Buffalo Dance.
We absolutely need that. 100%.
Alicia will be the mascot of the Let's Go Buffalo Dance for Sports on Tap Detroit.
We need that, absolutely. But in getting back into that game, like I said, yeah, am I happy they won? Obviously. I don't like the Chiefs. I don't know a lot of people that do like the Chiefs. And I feel like America kind of banded together.
They've
during
jumped
that
the
game.
shark. They've jumped the
Oh,
shark at
big
this
time.
point, man.
They're just an unlikable team.
I was a big fan of Patrick Mahomes when he came out. I was a big fan of Patrick Mahomes before he got the starting job when he was the backup to Alex Smith.
Yeah.
I was all over the fact that he was going to be great when he got that job. The next year, I think he played one game that first season. I was all about, and I like Andy Reid too. So like I was all about.
He's like the only person I like on that team.
It's amazing that he is so likable,
Yeah.
and yet it's really easy to hate the Chiefs
Yeah.
because Andy Reid is so likable. But again, I was all about Patrick Mahomes. Huge fan of him at first, and again, the first season he was the starter. I drafted him in almost every fantasy draft I had because I'm like, this kid's he's gonna throw for like a ton of fucking touchdowns. He's gonna rush. And again, he won a few fantasy leagues for me that year. At a certain point now, it's jumped the shark. I can't take it, and I think America. I think like you said, America is on board with the fact that we just had enough of the Chiefs, man. We can't take. I'll be honest with you. I'm starting to be done with the Kelsey brothers. Like I'd never really. I like Travis, and now he's.
I like Jason.
I can't. Okay, Jason's all right, but now him and Travis are just all over the place, and I can't stand Travis at this point. So like, it's just irritating as fuck to me at this point. The Chiefs,
Yeah.
the Kelseys,
And
it's all Mahomes. I can't see one. I can't sit through one fucking hour of TV without seeing the Kelsey brothers
Right.
or Mahomes on a fucking Allstate, whatever the State Farm, whatever the fuck it is. Andy Reid on those commercials is hilarious. I like seeing him.
Yeah, it's funny.
Fuck Patrick Mahomes. Can't stand seeing him.
Well, and as much as we hated the Patriots dynasty, at least it wasn't like shoved in our face like every 5 seconds, you know? And Bill Belichick made it that way. You know, you didn't see all these
Right.
players on every other commercial you see and shit like that, like kind of like this is, you know?
It's
And yeah, you may have hated Brady. That's fine, but
lots of people did.
yeah.
I didn't, but yeah, I mean, I think most people now are united in the fact that they just can't stand the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Unless you're a Chiefs fan. Everyone who's not a Chiefs fan just hates the Chiefs at this point. And it wasn't like that with the Patriots. You could have been not a Patriots fan and not completely hated them as well. With this,
Yeah.
no. It's either you're a fan or you fucking hate them.
And
'cause
it's
you're
not
tired of
even
seeing them.
not even just the overexposure. It's a lot of stuff on the field too. When you see a lot of the stuff that happens in their favor.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that leads to, you know, fans hating that team. Now, to their credit, they've earned it. You know, they've backed it up, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But like getting back to this game, yeah, again, like I said, I'm happy that they won and beat the Chiefs. But again, I'm not overly
Do it in
thrilled
the
about it.
playoffs?
Yeah, do it in January. Like, yeah, it's cool they beat them and you stopped their
Yeah.
undefeated season. Great. Do it in January. That's when it actually matters. You know, they show the records of Allen versus Mahomes. And Allen has a good record in the regular season against him.
Yep.
But he can't beat him in the playoffs when it actually matters. So, again, while I'm happy that they won this game, do it when it matters. Do it in January. That's really all I'm gonna say about that. Other than that play that Allen scored on, that run, that's if he does win the MVP this year, which it could be argued that maybe put him into top spot in that race, in the MVP race, that's gonna be the highlight. That's gonna be the moment that he won the MVP. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know how like Desmond had his, you know, Heisman moment, or Charles Woods, you know, stuff like that. Guys have that moment.
Yeah.
That's going to be the one you go back to, and you're like, that's when it happened. That's when, you know, he jumped off into MVP mode, you know. And again, I couldn't care less if he wins the MVP or not. It doesn't matter to me. As long as he's holding the Lombardi Trophy at the end of the year,
Right.
that's all I care about. And frankly, I'm sure that's all he cares about. I honestly really don't.
It should be all that anybody cares about. Alicia says he wishes he got that on video. We all wish.
Damn it, Eric.
We all wish he got that on video.
Fail.
He literally talked about how he knew it was going to happen. He was going to record it. You fucking failed, Eric.
Yeah, big fail right there.
Jesus.
Big time. Big failure. But anyways, moving on from that game, get on the Lions a little bit. Yeah, they did exactly what they were supposed to do against a bad team. They dump trucked them.
Yeah.
And I saw some people on social media like bashing the Lions for like running up the score. I'm like, that's not their job to stop. It isn't. Stop.
It's the defense's job to stop.
If you don't like it, do something about it.
Right. If you can't stop a team, what are they supposed to do? Just stop playing?
Like honestly, that'd be more embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, they just mercy you,
Yeah.
and they just go out there and kneel it down
that
3
would
times
be-
and then punt to you
That
because
would
they're
be
like,
so much more embarrassing.
you're not going to score anyway. We'll just
Yeah.
kneel it down 3 times and punt off to you because you suck.
That would be so much more disrespectful than you keep scoring, because that just means a team pities you, and that's ridiculous. I wouldn't want that.
Well, I mean, at a certain point, I think everybody pitied him during that game. As
Well,
far
that was
as
the thing. Like
Jacksonville
going
goes.
into that game, obviously you saw the line was like 14.5 for the Lions. I'm like, dude, give me 25.5, and I'm taking the Lions. They were going to dump truck the Jaguars because that team is terrible.
You could have given an unheard of line for an NFL football game, which would have been like it could have been like a college football line, 21.5 points.
Right.
I would have taken Detroit
Absolutely.
in that.
I mean, it wouldn't have been any value in it, but
No, but still, like you could have told me that the line was like I said, 21.5. Okay, I'm still taking the Lions.
big time, because that Jaguars team is so bad.
Doug Peterson's going to find himself out of a job.
Well,
before the end
yeah,
of the season.
I think they're just waiting until the offseason
Yeah.
to do it. But that dude is definitely not going to be back with the.
Green Mile, dead man walking.
100%. He's definitely a dead man walking. But I'm glad you brought that up because it goes into like another disastrous franchise that I want to get into, the fucking Jets.
The Jets.
Oh my
Jets.
God.
They fired Joe Douglas.
They fired their GM and Joe Douglas. Yeah. Obviously, they fired Robert Saleh earlier in the season. Yet they didn't fire the guy that they should have fired,
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Well, by all accounts, he's going to be done. Even though he's got a contract that goes through the next year.
Yeah.
They're going to be done with him after this season. This just basically spells it is he's done in New York. No matter what they got to do to get out of that contract, he will not play after this season's over with. He will not play another game for the Jets. That's a guarantee at this point.
And looking at that situation, like when they brought him in, I really didn't. And obviously last year he got hurt in the first series of the season. But even going into this year, I'm like, no, dude, he's done. He's fucking washed.
If you get him in there as just a football player, Aaron Rodgers quarterback, and not let him basically take the reins of the entire franchise and run it into the ground, maybe it works better, maybe it doesn't, but at least you're not giving up your entire future of your franchise for one fucking player.
You're placating to one guy.
Right. And now you've lost your head coach, you've lost your GM. All this because you wanted to give the reins to a quarterback who was at the end of his career, the ability to run an entire franchise. It just made no sense.
And again, this is why we say it all the time. This is why bad organizations stay bad.
Well, so here's the thing. So if you look at franchises that have turned it around, it's again, I know people get tired of hearing it, but it's about changing a culture, right?
Yep.
So you change the culture. You want to know who else has changed the culture?
The Lions.
The Lions.
Yep.
You want to know who else has changed the culture? Houston.
Yeah.
You want to know who else has changed the culture? Redskins.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be done, and it can be done fast. It's a matter of getting the right people in the positions. And you can argue about who the right people are and who is right and who isn't, but all three of those franchises I just named have changed the culture in their organization.
And two of those franchises that you just named changed ownership. Like the Redskins changed ownership because Daniel Snyder was arguably the worst owner in sports.
Right.
And obviously with the Lions, it wasn't, it got passed down.
Right.
It's still the same family that owns the team, but it went to a competent person that is running the team now,
But it's a matter of looking at it. You can change the culture of your franchise very quickly in the NFL. if you put the right people in place.
Agreed.
And if you don't put a quarterback at the end of his career at the reins of running your franchise.
No. And what I love even more about this is that the two previous quarterbacks to Aaron Rodgers with the Jets
Yeah.
both have a higher winning percentage than him, which is just okay.
In New York, yeah.
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 That's like, yeah, that sounds about right.
It does.
And I was listening to something earlier today, and the guy says, I feel bad for Jets fans. I'm like, I fucking don't. You when you brought him in, I feel like this is the only way that this was going to end.
But
when you give a player that much power,
it's not the fans' fault, though.
I'm not saying it's the fans' fault.
And that's where I can agree with sometimes you feel bad for fans of franchises because, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, sometimes you can because I'm
not saying you can't.
Talk
I
about
just don't.
But you talk about it as a Leafs fan. I mean,
I'm not asking anybody to feel bad for me as a Leafs fan.
you're not asking anybody but
I've seen this movie every year since I've been alive.
But again, you're a fan of the franchise, and you're not going to give up on them like we did with the Lions. But yeah, at a certain point in time, I guess as a fan, you can either decide to just give up on them, which is what we did with the Lions.
Right.
But yeah, I just it's a lot of times it's not the fans' fault. They want to root for their franchise because, again, especially with New York, like the New Yorkers are fucking. This is where I'm from. I'm rooting for my team, and like it's all about where you're located, right? I mean, Lions fans. If you live in Michigan, you're a Lions fan for the most part. Now, you and I were fans for years. We gave up, but
But this is why I don't feel bad, because you have the opportunity to say I'm done with you, and if you don't, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
But I'm not going to feel bad for you that you stick with it.
Right. Yeah.
You know, that's cool. You want to put again as me as a Maple Leafs fan. Yeah, I'm not expecting anybody to feel bad for me for sticking with it.
Right.
You know, it's what it is. I'll take you know everything that comes with that. You know. But
I like that sweatshirt, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I didn't really see it, but I'm looking at it on the screen here. And I was looking at the Buffalo Bill, the all red. Looks pretty sweet.
I dig it. They have obviously, if you wanted to get a Cleveland Browns one, I'm sure they're readily available.
I mean, I have a ton of Browns gear,
Yes.
so I'm not really at the point where I'm looking to continually put my money into that franchise right now until they start winning again. But yeah, I have a bunch of Browns gear that I still gladly wear.
You should. It's your team. But yeah, back to this Jets thing. It's again when you gave Aaron Rodgers that type of power, and for anybody that says that he didn't have any power, you're lying to yourself. He absolutely had power. He had significant power.
Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Too much power.
Like this is when you give a guy that much power, that's really the only way that this was going to end. It's like you got a 40-year-old dude coming off an Achilles injury. How did you think this was going to go this year? Like honestly,
right.
Honestly, looking at it, kind of how it's gone, you know? And you can tell this team is absolutely quit. Even the defense is not very good anymore because they're making business decisions. Like, look at Sauce Gardner. Went from being arguably the best corner in the league to not.
Yeah, almost on purpose.
But I will say, to your credit, arguably the best corner in the league, Quinyon Mitchell. I heard his stats the other day against every team they've played against and who he's lined up against, and it's like 1 catch for 10 yards, 2 catches for 15 yards, 1 catch for 5 yards, etc. Like all on down the line. And I when I heard that stat, I immediately thought of you. I'm like, Joe nailed this during the draft, nailed it. So credit to you on that one. He's been outstanding this year with the Eagles. So we'll see if he can continue that. And obviously, you've seen that trajectory with the Eagles because after that bye week, they've been on a tear. And that was one I was like, we did our preseason shit about like stuff we thought was going to happen. That was one I was completely fucking wrong about. Even though I still think Nick Sirianni is a fucking buffoon.
I do too. I thought he was a buffoon since day one, but we also think that about the winningest coach in the NFL right now, who is Dan Campbell. So I mean, you can still be somewhat of a buffoon and win in the NFL if you have the right players and the right coaches behind you.
Yes, absolutely. So more into this kind of NFL week and just season in general. Justin Tucker. What has happened to Justin Tucker?
It's like that dude fell off a cliff.
Like, what happened?
He was
Dude.
the most money kicker there
Oh, yeah.
ever was.
Since basically since Vinatieri.
And then this season has been really rough for him.
Like, really bad.
I'm curious as to if there is any underlying issues or anything.
I don't
but
know.
Like, dude he went from being money
Yeah.
from anywhere on the field
Yeah.
to he's lining up 30-yarders, and you're like,
I don't know if he's going to make this.
is he going to make this?
Like, I feel like if this was basically any other kicker and his name was, Jason Zucker, he would be out of a job right now.
I mean, it's possible. He has not been very good this season. But yeah, I mean, it's been rough for him, brother. That's an understatement. But
It really has, and we see a fall off like that. It's you almost want to. And I posted this on Twitter the other day. I was like, during Sunday, I'm like, his drop off needs to be studied as to what exactly happened here.
like I said, I'd be curious to see if there's an underlying issue or what. It's odd that there's been such a drop off.
Oh, it's incredibly bad. It's really bad. But that tends to happen. But he's not even that old.
No, not
And
for
I guess
not
that's-
for a kicker.
Well, not for a kicker, exactly. And that's kind of the vexing thing about this. Is like, so all of a sudden you got the yips. Like, what is it? I don't know what's going on here. But
I don't know.
let's jump into this past week. Just kind of recap a little bit of a recap. Anyway, we've obviously already done the Bills Chiefs game and the Lions game a little bit because there really wasn't much to recap from that game. They played a bad team. They dump trucked them. Exactly what you should do.
We talked about the Jets. They lost by 1 point to Indianapolis, who also is not a very good team, and who put Anthony Richardson back in at quarterback. And then they decide to run him instead of their Pro Bowl running back. I don't know what they're doing. That's another franchise that has no direction.
No, they really don't.
The Colts have less direction than the Jets, and yet the Jets lost to them. That should tell
That's
where
you
we're
something.
at.
Yes, that should absolutely tell you something. But kicking it back to the Thursday night game, Washington and Philly. Again, Philly, they're on a run since their bye week. They've been on a run. That team looks scary good now, especially because they can actually play defense.
Yep.
Like their secondary is actually good now. They can actually stop people from scoring points. And it kind of. I was talking to a buddy yesterday about this, and he's a Lions fan, so he's obviously talking about the Lions. I'm like, it's like watch out for the Eagles, dude. Like that defense is good.
Well, they are. They're getting better too.
Yeah.
Because what they have Quenya Mitchell, and they've got Cooper DeJean. Both those guys are rookies, and you already talked about the numbers from Mitchell, and DeJean is no slouch back there either. With the rest of that defense, I think they're just hitting their stride right now. Honestly,
I do too. And it looks like the offense is kind of taking stride too with Kellen Moore calling the plays.
Yep.
I mean, if they can keep A.J. Brown healthy, and obviously with Saquon doing what he's doing,
That dude is fucking otherworldly.
it's amazing when you get out of a shitty situation and you actually go to a winning situation. Like how that revives your career. What Saquon's doing now has been outstanding. So
Saquon is probably one of the best studies in amazing talent being drafted to a losing franchise or a losing situation and not materializing the way you thought they should.
right.
And then all of a sudden he goes to a winning team. He goes to a good
Hey, look at
organization.
this.
And you're like, oh, okay. And I know a lot of people poo-poo the fact that, you can be a very good college player. You can be a great college player, but go to a bad situation in the NFL and just not succeed because of that. It's not really you. It's the situation. It's the coaching.
And that's happened to countless players.
And it has. But so many times people are like, no, if you're that good, you're going to succeed. And I've always been of the argument of no. You can fail because of your situation, because of the franchise you get drafted to, because of the players around you, because of the coaches around you. You absolutely can be a great player and still fail in a bad situation.
No, I don't disagree with you on that. I really don't, because it's true. We've seen it numerous times. But Well, and speaking to that, so you got the guy who did get drafted to what we thought was arguably the best situation you could possibly go into as a rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
And they lose to the Packers in a heartbreaking fashion, we'll say, with another blocked field goal.
Heartbreaking for them. Funny and hilarious.
Oh, funny! Yes, it was. I laughed. I thought it was
For
hysterical.
everybody else, it was
yes.
funny.
I thought it was hysterical. But credit to him, I don't think he played all that bad against the Packers. It wasn't great by any means. But.
Right. I don't think they played bad as a team either.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't throw any touchdowns, but he didn't throw any picks. He was 23 of 31 for 231 yards.
Okay.
No, it wasn't a bad game from him.
No.
It was actually one of his better games as far as consistency.
Yeah.
And not making turnovers or not making the bad decisions.
Yeah, I thought that was a solid game from them. Maybe a game they should have won, and one where the Packers didn't play all that well. But
yeah, I was gonna say I think the Bears played up a little bit, and I think the Packers played down a little bit.
yeah,
But I mean that's what happens when you division game on the road. That can happen.
yeah, it can. But it's good for the Packers. They got that W, which is big for them. They stay in the division race. So, but you know who else always comes out on the winning side?
Jason Stillman from Flagstar Bank.
That's right. If you're a homeowner or looking to be a first-time homebuyer, give Jason Stiltner, Senior Loan Officer at Flagstar Bank, a call today at 248-752-3631. Jason has great mortgage programs for first-time homebuyers, including down payment assistance options and excellent interest rates. Again, give my guy, Jason Stiltner from Flagstar Bank, a call today at 248-752-3631 and get the excellent service you deserve. Flagstar Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC, NMLS number 27546.
Sports on Tap.
Yeah.
So back into the recap of this past week. Vikings, yeah, they win against a bad Titans team, but man, that team does not look very good. To me, anyway.
It was another rough game for them. All in all, Sam Darnold played well again. 20 of 32, 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 107 rating. He also rushed one in.
Yeah.
And the Titans are not a bad team defensively. So, I mean, they were able to succeed offensively. And I think they did basically just enough to win this game. The Titans are not a good team by any means.
No.
But again, they didn't dump truck them, but Tennessee, for all their flaws, has a decent defense. So I think for them it was a decent win, and they kind of rose back up a little bit from their few games. They had a few games there where they were.
Yeah.
It looked rough. It looked rough for Sam Darnold. Even last week, you're like, hey, did Sam Darnold come back down to planet Earth? And yeah, okay, he did for the most part. But again, in this game, you look at it and you're like, all right, well, he may not be Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, but he's getting the job done. He's making the right decisions on his throws. He's going through his reads, and by all accounts, he looks decent. He looks good.
And then another one we thought was going to be a marquee matchup, but honestly, I thought it kind of turned out to be a dog of a game, was the Ravens and Steelers.
It was a rough game to watch.
It really was, and it's
the Steelers did what we said they were going to do.
Yeah.
I think the Steelers are a team are really a team to beat in the AFC, man. I really do.
Do you think they can continue this? And obviously they've done it for multiple weeks now, but can they continue literally not scoring any touchdowns, like offensively?
Oddly, yeah.
Really?
I do. I think their defense is good enough, and they're going to score enough if their defense plays like they've been playing. They don't have to put up a ton of points.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, they can win games the old-fashioned way.
They might have to.
Good defense and scored just enough. And that's what they've been doing.
Like, I heard that was like arguably like Lamar Jackson's like worst game that he's ever played.
Well, and I credit that to Pittsburgh's defense,
right.
man. I mean, they're playing out of their minds right now.
And more to Justin Tucker, he was bitching about the field conditions and shit like that. I'm like, Well, the other guy went 6 for 6 on the same field.
Yes. So
Maybe stop blaming the field conditions.
Yeah.
When the other guy went 6 for 6. But yeah, I really thought that was going to be more of an exciting game, but it was kind of like a slugfest, kind of like we talked about a little bit.
It was a slugfest, but not in like the
Not in the exciting type slugfest way.
It was a methodical.
It really was.
It was a methodical.
Yeah.
Trudgery.
It was like kind of like Death by a Thousand Cuts type game. It's like, okay.
Yeah. It was a rough watch.
Yes, it was.
But again, sometimes those games are fun to watch too because it's a back and forth defensive battle, and if you can appreciate the defense. Now, some games are just low scoring, and it's because it's bad offenses. But when you have good defenses playing against each other, it can be fun to watch a little bit.
It can be.
To see how they scheme and
Right.
you see how they get to the quarterback and just all the ways that they wreak havoc on an offense. It's kind of fun to watch sometimes.
Right. What wasn't fun to watch was the Broncos-Falcons game, as the Falcons just got absolutely murdered.
They got shit canned.
Woo. But credit to Bo Nix. He was my sleeper. I talked about before the season started. 28-33, 307 and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, he had a hell of a fucking game, bro.
There's that game. And now you hear the talk. Is it going to be him or is it going to be Daniels for, Offensive Rookie of the Year? And there's a legitimate case that Bo Nix has made.
Well, Bo Nix has played much better as of late.
Yeah.
The first few games of the season, man, it was rough watch for him.
I still think Daniels is hurt. I think his ribs are still fucked up.
Yeah. Well, with Bo Nix, it was a rough watch at first.
Yeah.
It was growing pains, and I think if you watched those games and didn't just look at the box scores, you could see that he had something there.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of putting it all together, and he's still going to have rough games.
Of course
he's a
he is.
rookie, but
I think Sean Payton is starting to loosen the reins a little bit.
A
little bit.
I think he's got enough of the rushing ability.
Yeah.
He's got enough in his legs that he can make plays with his legs. He's a mature.
He's mature.
Yeah, he's mature. He's a mature. Rookie.
Yes.
But yeah, when you see him, I mean, he makes plays and he makes reads that a lot of rookies don't make. You know what I mean? He's got that quarterback mindset, as if he's been playing in the NFL a couple years. On when you see some of the plays, you're like, man, wow, all right,
This gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So credit to the Broncos. They are, and Bo Nix especially. I mean, he's looked really good in his rookie year. So it's going to come down to the wire between who gets offensive rookie of the year with that one, with him and Jaden Daniels. But it's good to see. It's good to see some rookies actually play well.
Yeah.
Because we kind of bag on rookies all the time. We're like, this guy sucks. This guy sucks. Blah blah blah. Whatever. But it's good to see them play well. So good for them. And then the Seahawks-Niners, dude. What is wrong with the 49ers?
I don't know, man, but they got to right that ship real quick.
Man.
They got to right that ship real quick.
Yeah, they do. Like, people always were looking at that game later in the season with them and the Lions. And that game is actually going to matter now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's probably going to matter for both teams, but it's going to matter a hell of a lot for San Francisco.
I was going to say, I think it's probably going to matter for San Francisco. I'm not sure how much it's going to matter for Detroit by that point in time.
Right.
But it's definitely going to matter for San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
Because the way their season's going right now.
In that division?
Every win is going to count. Every game counts.
I mean, when every team in that division is 5-5 and the leader of that division is 6-4.
Yep. And the leader of the division is
the Arizona Cardinals, as you talked about earlier in the year, which you were high on the Arizona Cardinals. And credit to you and credit to them, especially. I had no faith in Kyler Murray. I don't. It's hard to say that I don't now because he's actually proven it. He's actually done really well this year. So credit to him and credit to the Cardinals for being in the race.
I mean, they have to keep doing it, but
they do.
Again,
they've had some clunkers this year too.
Oh, of course. I'll be honest with you. I think the NFL this year, you've got Detroit, Kansas City, Buffalo, and then everybody else. I mean, even the teams that have good records have had some real dog shit games.
Yeah.
And you look at it and you're like, how can you be that Jekyll and Hyde? But
it's the NFL.
They are.
It's the NFL.
It is. It is. It's crazy, but it is. I mean, you could have a team like the Rams. Rams are coming on strong right now.
Yeah.
Chargers.
Yeah, they look really good.
The Chargers, what were they? 3-3?
Yeah, no, they're 7-3.
Now they're 7-3,
Yep.
and I mean,
And I think they just completely ended the Bengals season.
yeah,
Yeah, you saw it after that game. You looked at Burrow, and he's like, "I'm fucking done."
Mm-hmm.
Even like obviously some of the players, Jamar Chase, that dude looks like one of the worst fucking teammates ever.
Jamar Chase.
Yes,
Why?
just some of the shit he was saying after the game.
I
Apparently, I don't know how real this is because again, you can doctor up any type of video, but apparently he called his coach a gay slur.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay, I didn't hear that.
yeah.
Wow, called
Oh,
his
yeah.
coach a gay slur. Wow.
On the bench, and then his comments after the game was just like, "Dude,
Wow.
like why are you like that?"
Yeah,
You know?
that's not cool.
But Chargers take out the Bengals 34-27. Good on the Chargers. Harbaugh has done exactly what we said he was going to do there.
Yeah.
They were going to run the ball, and their defense was going to be good.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Justin
and-
Herbert looks like a legitimate quarterback now.
Well, see, and that's the first few games of the season, the first half of the season, first portion of the season.
Yeah.
They were running the ball a lot, and they weren't putting Justin Herbert in positions to throw the ball a ton.
Right.
But now, Harbaugh's kind of letting loose on that a little bit, and he's letting him throw the ball. And Herbert's throwing the ball all around the yard.
Because they can run the ball.
Right. But again, you have teams that have to respect the run, and they stack the box a little bit, or they jump in a little bit on play action. And that play action, when players respect your run, when teams respect your run, the play action sells it.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get open lanes behind them, and you get deep shots. That's how you get your passing game to work, is by having a run game that is respected and running good play action off it. Not the shitty play action where nobody and their brother actually thinks
Right.
you handed the ball to anybody. Like, you got to sell it. But
Yep.
when you do that, you catch those linebackers and you catch those safeties for a split second
Yep.
of looking in the backfield for that run, and then it's over.
Yep. And obviously Herbert's taking advantage of that this year.
Yep.
He has. He's hitting those guys now, which is good. You know, it's good to see him finally come. And he's healthy,
Yeah.
which has been a big thing for him. So it's good to see that.
I want to go back to the Niners real quick for a second. And again, a little bit of a pat myself on the back here. Christian McCaffrey's been back 2 weeks. I think the other running backs on that team in the 2 weeks he's been back, including the very first week he was back, have like a total of 5 carries. He came back. He's been the guy
Yep.
since the minute he came back. And a lot of people didn't think he was going to be. We even talked about it on the
I
show.
was one of them.
I said I thought he was going to come back and handle a full
I was one of them.
workload. He has. I mean, by all accounts, this guy's handled all the work out of the backfield other than a couple of carries.
Right.
And he doesn't necessarily look like the Christian McCaffrey of old, but you can see a big difference from last week to this week in he's getting back into game acclimation.
Yeah.
And the guy, nobody could ever say the guy is not in shape. So the guy is always in shape, but getting back into game action shape and playing at a high speed against real teams is different than being in athletic shape.
Right.
But I mean, he's come back. I've been impressed. He's handled a shit ton of work since he's come back from being off for the first 10 weeks of the season.
You know who else handles a shit ton of work?
The Joe Wright Group.
Yeah. Whether you're buying or selling your home, now is the time to take.
I had a funnier answer, but I knew we were going to
I'm
the
sure
read,
you
so.
did. Whether you're buying or selling your home, now is the time to take advantage of having the expertise of 3 real estate agents for the price of 1 on your side. Make the right move with the right group, the Joe Wright Group. Give Craig Joe Wright, Mike Bush, and Shane Wilson a call today at 248-535-4750 to fulfill all of your real estate needs.
Happy Chinooka.
Happy Chinooka. And the Monday night game, God, it's so awesome to see the Cowboys just get lit up like every week now. It's awesome. I fucking love it.
They're so bad.
So bad. And like, how bad does Trey Lance have to be that he couldn't even get in over fucking Cooper Rush?
I'll be honest with you.
Dude.
I don't think that's the case. I think it's jury.
Jared Jones?
I think it's Jer Jones, being Jer Jones. If you go out and you spend a 4th-round draft pick to get a quarterback, either you're the dumbest person on the planet for not playing him, like Cooper Rush. Would Jerry Jones trade a 2nd-round draft pick and a player to be named later for this guy? Because like he's starting above Trey Lance. I think the biggest thing is it's Jury, and Jury doesn't want to put him out there because he doesn't want his golden child of Dak Prescott. If Trey Lance goes out there and actually looks good, which by all accounts, if you traded a 4th-round draft pick for him, you think you have something with him, right? I think it's Jerry being Jerry. I think I don't think it says anything about Trey Lance. If it was another franchise with a non-meddling owner, I would put more backing to the fact that maybe it says something about Trey Lance. To me, this says something more about Jerry Jones than it does Trey Lance. It says to me, you're an idiot.
Oh, yeah.
And no matter what you have in him, you traded a 4th-round draft pick for him. Your season's over with. Your quarterback is gone for the season. Cooper Rush, what is he doing for you? What is he gonna do for you? There's no future there for anything.
No.
Play Trey Lance, but it's Jerry Jones being Jerry Jones.
Which is I love because like on Thanksgiving you're gonna see Cooper Rush versus Tommy DeVito on Thanksgiving.
That's so bad.
It's so bad.
Oh.
That's gonna be the one where like, okay, I've had a shitload of turkey. Maybe take a nap during that game because whatever. That might like we thought the Panthers Giants game in Germany was gonna be like the worst game possibly ever played. This one, the Cowboys Giants game on Thanksgiving, might be the worst game ever played.
I'm just not looking forward to football on Thanksgiving this year, and I always do, but. We've got the Lions who are playing at home against the Bears. Okay, I don't like the Lions, and they're going to dump truck the Bears in that game, I think. So Lions winning just automatically brings my Thanksgiving down.
Right.
I don't enjoy watching that. And then, of course, you got all the Lions fans who are not really Lions fans. They don't really know anything about football. They're just like, Lions, yay! They want to talk football, so they're like, oh, yeah, I just love seeing this team. There was a call the other day on the radio. And it wasn't even local radio. I don't listen to local radio anymore.
No, neither do I.
It was
I haven't listened to it for.
It was a
about a decade.
national. Yeah, it was like a national radio. But they called in, and he was a Lions fan. And he was talking about, I just love how this team backs each other. And David Montgomery, he got stopped at the goal line, but then Penei Sewell ran in and pushed him in, and that just shows they have good teamwork and they have that. And I'm thinking to myself, that's what you called up to a national fucking radio station to talk about, is how they have good teamwork because the fucking tackle pushed your running back into the end zone. What? You might as well just call up and go, I know nothing about football, but I love the Lions. Yay. The fuck are you doing? Lions are winning. Yay. You know how many of those fucking people are out there right now? Lions fans
I'm helping.
They're insufferable. Yeah. Oh, I'm helping.
I'm helping. And then you get the Wii. Like the Wii stuff.
Yeah, oh, exactly.
Irritates
Yeah,
me.
the Wii stuff definitely irritates the shit out of me too.
Yeah. So,
But anyway.
Yeah. Yes.
Go Lions!
There was something I was going to bring up, and I totally lost my train of thought. But
My bad.
It does. Oh yes, here it is. So, through this week, what would you say is your top 5 for your MVPs right now?
Oh,
and it doesn't have to be in
Jesus
any specific order, but
Christ.
I mean,
give me a minute here.
Yes.
I know you sent that in the text.
I did.
And I've had a rough few days here. So you go ahead and give yours. Let me look up.
I mean, for me, it would be obviously Lamar is in there.
Yeah.
Josh Allen's in there. Jared Goff is in there. Saquon is in there. And number 5, Joe Burrow. I'd have to put Joe Burrow in there. I know he's not going to win, but you look at the numbers he's putting up. It's like, dude, his numbers are insane right now.
Yeah. So,
But obviously, with his team being under 500, he's not going to win it. But his numbers are ridiculous.
yeah. I think right now, I think the 3 leaders I think the three leaders are obvious, right? It's and not in this order, but it's Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff, Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I think those are the three leaders. And I think behind that, you can throw in a couple other guys. I think Derrick Henry deserves a little bit of a vote here. I think he's completely turned that franchise. Like, having him on that team is making that team completely
I
different.
still don't think they use him enough, but
In this last game, it showed they didn't.
Yep.
But again, that's not on him. When they do use him, the guy's lights out.
right.
I think his numbers are indicative of being in the talk.
Yep.
And then I think for my fifth, Kyler Murray.
Okay. I mean,
I'm not saying he has a legit shot to win it.
I think he does have a legit shot to win it. If he gets them to the playoffs, he absolutely has a legit shot to win it. I don't think he's going to,
No,
but he has a legitimate argument for it.
I think one of those other three guys that I already named are
Right.
going to win.
I think you're right
So
on that. But
I don't think he has a legit shot. He would have to have a miraculous second half of the season. But if they do make the playoffs, if they do win that division, and if he is the catalyst behind that, then yes, he has a realistic shot. But I think he deserves to be in the conversation right now, at least at 5.
oh yeah, absolutely he does. Yeah, I think he has a realistic shot to win it. I do. Why not? I mean, I don't think he's going to. I think it's going to be one of those three guys that we talked about.
But that's why I don't think it's realistic. I think he deserves to be in the conversation. But realistically, one of those other three guys is going to win it.
Maybe. I mean,
Because their teams are just too good, and they're putting up too good of numbers.
Right.
And in all honesty, truthfully, I think it's going to be Jared Goff.
I wouldn't be shocked at that. Because you look at that team, say you put like Hendon Hooker behind center. Is that team anywhere near as good?
No.
No, certainly not.
No.
But you could also say that about the Bills, and you could also say that about the Ravens.
Right, exactly.
If you put anybody but Josh Allen behind, like obviously they put Trubisky behind him, they look like fucking ass.
Yeah.
So you can say that about like really any MVP type quarterback. But because I was talking to my buddy yesterday about this, and I said, I go, honestly, I think if I gun to my head right now, and if I had to pick an MVP, I'd pick Jared Goff. I would.
Yeah. Oh, I see. And we didn't even talk about that, and I agree with you. I would pick Jared Goff right now.
Yep. So, and to that point, now who would be your top 5 teams in the NFL right now?
Kansas City, Buffalo, Detroit. Not necessarily in that order.
Right.
Pittsburgh, and Philly.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I think that. Yeah, again, there's not necessarily an order here, but
Right.
I think I have the same 5 teams as you do as well.
And I think closely behind that right now is are the Chargers.
Okay.
I think the Chargers are playing really good football right now.
They are.
And I think you'd be hard pressed not to put them like right behind that top 5.
No, I don't disagree with you. I think those are clearly the 5 best teams in football right now, and it kind of like craters after that. It's like okay, kind of a big drop off, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, I don't disagree with you on that.
The best team in football right now?
I think it's
the
the Lions.
Lions.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think there's any doubt.
No, I think it's definitely the Lions. Yeah,
It pains me to say that.
It does,
but
but
I don't think there's any doubt that
I think it's
now they are the best team
yeah,
in football.
it's pretty accurate. I mean, what they're doing to teams, especially like I know it's a bad team, but you dump truck bad teams, and they're doing exactly what you should do. So
They're doing what they've never done before, which is win the games you're supposed to win.
exactly, they don't have that one game where you're like, how the fuck did you lose that game?
Right.
Right. But yeah, credit to them. They're doing exactly what they should do, and they, in a lot of people's opinions, are the best team in football right now. Which it's hard to say that they're not. So
yeah. Stephen Kelly says the Bucks, and then he says, "I'll show myself out."
the Bucks. I love it. Hey man, they got Baker.
Yeah. Listen,
you love Baker.
Baker's back this week. I get to watch Baker again.
Yeah, you love Baker.
But speaking of the Lions, if you were looking to go watch the game this week and see the Lions play, look no further than going to Tap and Barrel Grill. Tap and Barrel Grill in Shelby Township is one of the newest sports bars in Metro Detroit. This upscale sports bar features over 40 craft beers on tap, handcrafted cocktails, a delicious scratch-made food menu, and an amazing patio, voted best in Macomb County by Crain's Detroit Weekly. The comfortable feel, attentive staff, and fine dining food options make it a must-visit spot for sports fans and foodies alike. Whether you're watching the big game, like the Lions, or just looking for a great meal, Tap and Barrel Grill has you covered. Tap and Barrel Grill, visit them at 50055 Van Dyke Avenue in Shelby Township, or go to tapandbarrelgrill.com.
Nicely done. Good read.
Thank you. Had a stumble, but that's what happens with live reads. That's the beauty of live reads. You stumble a little bit.
I mean, obviously. Yes. Yeah. Been there, done that. So I have to ask, were you one of the suckers that watched that Logan Paul Tyson fight?
No. So here's why, and I'll tell you why. So I didn't have much going on that night. Mm-hmm. I did try to log in twice just to see it. Right. I wanted to see that women's bout because I heard and knew that was going to be a good match.
And from all accounts, it was.
Well, and I watched it, so I was able to watch the replay later once it was on, not live. Mm-hmm. And I did watch the women's bout, and it was a great fucking boxing match. I tried twice, and it buffered out on me both times. And I said, "Fuck this! I don't give a shit. I'm done. I don't care enough to watch. I don't care enough to watch it." I saw some shit later on about it, but no, I watch it live. I did not. Again, not that I didn't try. I did log into it twice just to check it out. I saw about 5 total minutes in the 2 times that I put it on, and it buffered out on me both times. We'll get into the boxing match. I'm sure we'll get into the event here in a minute, but I want to talk about Netflix for 1 second. Their venture into live broadcasting. Mm-hmm. I know they're saying it was 60 million people watching. Your first venture into live broadcasting failed.
I think this was an all test.
It failed.
Yeah, it did. Big time.
Miserably.
Yeah.
And so much so that WWE put in a call to Netflix and was like,
hey,
you got to figure this shit out because we're going live on your platform here in January. Figure it the fuck out.
Right.
They have 2 live football games coming up on Christmas.
I posted that on Twitter. I was like, if this happened during an NFL game, especially like a playoff game or something,
dude, it was so bad.
Yeah,
and it wasn't even just the 2 times that I saw on social media. It was everybody was having, like everybody was having problems.
Well, except me because I didn't tune into it.
Because you didn't even try. But
fuck no.
I don't blame. So again, I don't blame you. I didn't necessarily want. I didn't really care about that boxing match. To me was fixed from day one. I don't give a shit what the outcome was. It was bullshit.
It was funny that night or that day I was at work and one of the guys, one of the FedEx guys, he asked me, he goes, "So you watch that fight tonight?" I go, "Hell no." He goes, "Why not?" I'm like, "Because this shit is gonna be as staged and as rigged as a fucking WWE match. Mm-hmm. Like, why would I watch that? Why don't I just watch wrestling then? You know." I had no interest in it. Absolutely none.
If you saw some of the replays of it, you saw Mike Tyson for a few times there.
He could have.
Instinct alone had him to where he could have knocked out Jake Paul, and he pulled up, and he didn't swing. Honestly, I know Jake Paul came out and said, "Oh, I went easy on him. I didn't want to." No, man, Mike could have knocked your ass out like 3 or 4 times from what I saw just in the replays.
Right.
Because I didn't even see the whole thing.
Right.
I only saw the replays later on, and I saw like snippets. But that was all bullshit to me. That whole match was bullshit. That women's match though, that was one of the best boxing matches I've ever seen.
Dude, her cut was nasty.
Dude,
that was gross.
That was a gash.
Yeah, it was.
There was a couple of gashes in that boxing match, and one of them was on her eye.
Yeah, 3 of them. At least that we know of, anyway.
Yeah. And yeah, we're sitting here. Unlike Jerry Jones, we're willing to throw some shade on some subjects, and one of them took place in his stadium.
That's the funny thing. They actually put up curtains for that.
I know.
What the? But you won't do it for your own fucking team, your own football team?
Nope.
God, that guy's a fucking idiot. But yeah, again,
apparently Jerry Jones has never thrown shade in his life.
Apparently not.
It was bullshit.
I mean, if you watch that fight and you complained about it, why? That's exactly what you deserved.
Right.
Like, you deserved to see that garbage, quote, fight. Because that's all it was going to be. It was going to be a staged, nonsensical, just moneymaker for these two. That's all it was going to be. And if you expected anything different, I'm sorry, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Yep. It was I think, like you said, I mean, you got what you deserved.
Alicia said Netflix failed for the Love Is Blind live reunion last year. Apparently, they had to postpone it because it got so many bad reviews.
Oh.
Again, you guys got, you got a little over a month here to figure it out before you have two.
They've got 2 Christmas games.
Yeah, and they're good games too.
Right, and then you've got, again, everyone's probably that doesn't watch it is probably like, oh, big deal. WWE is a big moneymaker right now, and they are a big organization that has a lot of backing, a lot of pull.
Oh yeah.
You don't want to have their broadcast fail.
No, you
that's
certainly don't.
not something you want because WWE will not stand for that.
Nope.
They have too much money at stake.
Or TKO for that matter.
Right.
The
parent company. Yeah.
TKO won't stand for that.
But that's on a side note, though. I believe I heard Jake Paul did challenge somebody else for a boxing match. He said he would knock out Lee Corso.
I was gonna say, was it Bernie Sanders?
No, it was Lee Corso.
And that was a joke. We were talking about it. We were talking about Saturday. I mean, my buddy Hugh were talking about Saturday. We were just coming up with the random old guys.
He also challenged Babe Ruth to a home run derby.
I saw that one. That was great. But that's the thing. It's like this is why nobody takes you serious.
He called out Muhammad Ali too, though.
There you go. I mean,
yeah.
But this is why nobody takes you serious because you don't fight legitimate fighters. You don't.
But the funny thing is, I don't think he cares.
He doesn't care because he's getting fucking paid.
Because he makes all the money. Like, he says he wants to be considered a legit boxer, but if you want to be considered a legit boxer,
Fight a legit boxer.
Wait, you don't see any other boxers fighting old washed-up has-beens or UFC fighters.
No.
You're the only boxer fighting old UFC fighters and old boxers. A Mike Tyson who's 50. You know what I mean?
60.
Almost
60.
But, like, all these other boxers are out there boxing each other for belts.
Yeah.
You're in it for the payday, dude.
Of course.
Like, don't try to spin it like you're not. I would have more respect for you if you just came out and said, "Yeah, I'm here to take everybody's money. Fuck you. I'm getting rich. You guys are stupid." Just say that.
Yeah.
Don't try to come out as you're a legit boxer because you boxed almost 60-year-old Mike Tyson and a bunch of washed up fucking UFC fighters.
But if you're the crowd that can't see that that's what he's doing,
well, then
you're an idiot.
But in that case, you're fucking stupid.
Yes, you're incredibly stupid. I'm sorry, you're a fucking moron.
Yeah.
So whatever.
I had a training today at work, and what Eric says, Jake Paul will be the new Dr. Kevorkian.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
That went to a dark place.
That went to a really dark place. He's just gonna fight old people and
just
kill them.
He's gonna one punch, it's over. Okay.
He says, "Are you ready? Are you ready to die? Get in the ring with Jake Paul.
Are you ready to die?
Are you ready to die? It's about family."
Yeah. Nice.
But it's funny. I had a talking about not being about people and people are stupid. I had a training today. Eric had it earlier. I had it in the later part of the day. But it was like it was training people to train people and how to relate to other people as you train. So it was training for trainers, basically, is how to relate to other people that you aren't on the same level with, like different generations, different personalities that aren't like yours. So they did this personality test.
I probably failed this miserably.
I don't. There's really no failing it, but we did a personality test in there.
Oh God!
And undoubtedly, when it finally showed what personality I was like, oh yeah, that I could have fucking told you that.
That sounds about right.
If you'd have told me all the things that went behind that before I took the little fucking test, I could have saved you the time.
Right.
But yeah, basically it came out to I am not sympathetic towards people. I don't really relate to people on like a level of like really talking to them and getting to know them because I don't really give a shit. And I basically just don't like people. And I'm like, yeah, yep.
Yeah.
I could have fucking saved you the time.
Okay. Like why? This is what I don't like is why is it forced upon people that you have to like other people?
Yeah. No,
I don't like that. It bothers
no.
me. Like if you're forcing it upon me, then I'm not gonna like it. I'm sorry. It's
right.
Not gonna.
Yeah. No. Well, and it basically said, that my personality, I'm about getting the job done.
Yeah.
I'm not about the bullshit.
No.
Like I don't care what you did on the weekend. Like let's get it. We're at work.
Yeah.
Leave your bullshit at the door.
Yep.
We're here to do a job. Let's look at the numbers. Let's look at what's behind it. Let's get it done and get the fuck out of here. But yeah,
I'm not at work to make friends. I'm here to make money and go home. That's literally what I'm there for.
Yeah, Eric said y'all said Lee Corso. Oh, Lee Corso, yeah, because he's gonna kill Lee Corso. Yeah, that's exactly it.
One more topic I wanted to get on before we hit the picks here is Alex Ovechkin.
Okay,
this dude, and he got hurt last night. They say he's gonna be week to week, but the start to his season, he was, as of last night, he was leading the league in goals with 15, right? So he was on pace to not only break Gretzky's record this season, but absolutely obliterate it this season. And I saw a stat yesterday that I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, not only would he break Gretzky's record, but he'd do it in less games than what Gretzky ended up having. Wow. And to me, that's just like, holy. And obviously, he still has a chance to do that when he comes back. Break it in less games.
As long as
you're right.
Well, as long as he's not gone for an extended period.
Right. Like you looked at last season, and like especially, I would say at least half his season, he looked slow. He just looked like he was washed. Yeah. And they turned it on at the back half of the season. He still ended up with 30 goals. Right. It's like, all right, cool. So you go into this season, and you're like, well, what's he gonna do? It's probably gonna have to go into next season until he breaks it. But he comes out just on fire. It looks like the old Ovi.
Yeah.
Like he looks happy. He looks excited. His team's actually pretty good this year. And he was like the old Ovi. It's like, oh, shit. Like, he's sniping goals from everywhere. You know, the last 2 games, he had 5 goals. He had a hat trick, and he had 2 goals last night before he got hurt. So, I'm hoping to see it. I'm hoping he can come back this year and do it. But this injury, how long it's going to be, whether it's week to week or however long he's going to be out, it's probably going to postpone it until next season, early next season. But just how he's come out, man, I looked at it. I'm like, dude, he might actually do it this fucking year, you know? And just seeing that said that he would do it in less games than Gretzky did it, it's like, okay, that's pretty impressive. I gotta say,
he's been on a tear to start the season, and I hate seeing that he's down with an injury right now. But
yeah, so do I. So, but anyways, I just wanted to get that in before we got to the picks here. So.
Before we get to the picks, I want to talk to you about my pick for best DJ in the Metro Detroit area. We all know planning an event such as a wedding, birthday party, graduation party, or any other event that might require a DJ can be very hairy. Eliminate the stress and give Steve Waddell at Bald Man Entertainment a call today at 586-747-5402. To see all of his upcoming events, check out his link on our Facebook page or go to sotdet.com. Click on the Bald Man logo. Again, that's Bald Man Entertainment, 586-747-5402. The best decision you can make for a smooth event.
Yeah. All right.
I accidentally clicked the wrong logo there for a minute, and the Tap and Barrel Grill popped up during my read there versus why I paused for a second. I'm like, oh, wrong one.
Yeah, that can
gotta put up the Bald Man logo there.
Yeah, that can happen.
Oh, live. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You ready to get in the picks?
I am ready to get into the picks. Let's do it.
This segment is brought to you by the Joe Wright Group.
It's time!
All right, so what's the damage from last week?
Well, the damage is me because I just suck. I'm not very good at this. I don't know what I'm good at, but it's not this.
All right.
So week 12, you won both sets.
Shit.
Yep.
Nice.
You won college and pro.
Yeah, baby.
So you were 4-3 in college.
Okay.
Myself, Frank, and Eric were all 2-5.
That's unfortunate for you guys.
Yeah. So in college, I sucked equally with them. In pros, you won it 6-2.
Yeah, baby.
Frank was second at 5-4.
Okay.
I was third at 4-5. Eric was 3-6. So Eric had a worse week than I did, but I will tell you, Eric, you suck because I'm telling you right now, I suck and I had a really bad week. So you did
He must have stopped having Alicia make his picks.
Yeah, you should go back to having Alicia make your picks because you were doing pretty good there for a while.
Yeah.
And I know you got upset when we all thought she was making your picks, and you probably were like, "Oh, they know you're making my picks now. Now I have to make them."
Right.
go back to letting her make them.
Yes,
bro,
for sure.
And to be honest with you, I might call her to make my picks. I'm that bad right now. So Alicia, if you want to make my picks for me next week, I'll just shoot them over to you, and you can just. I don't care how you pick them. Just pick the winners.
Do it.
Total for the year. You're winning now. You're leading 103, 99, and 2.
Don't call it a comeback, baby.
You are above 500.
Yeah.
Yeah. Frank. Oh, no, Eric is second, actually. 101, 102, and 2.
You guys are losers.
You're a loser. Frank, I'm a loser, actually. Frank is 100, 103, and 2. And I am 97, 106, and 2. So I am behind by quite a bit. Actually, I'm behind you by 6 games. So, yeah.
All right. It's good to be back in my spot, back on top. I love it.
Yeah.
From where I was, I'll take that shit, man. Anyways, all right, so let's get into this week's picks. Obviously, we'll start off with the
Yeah, I think the count's off here somewhere. I got to go look back at the numbers. For some reason, it looks like the count's off on here somewhere.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I must have missed the number somewhere. But anyway, those numbers are going to be close to what it is.
Right.
I think somebody might be one number off.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, so the college slate this week wasn't the greatest because a lot of those SEC schools are playing their annual, little kids of the blind schools and, propping up their win-loss record. So away we go. First up, we got Wake Forest taking on Miami. Miami's laying 24. You guys all took Miami. I took Wake Forest.
I'm never less Jewy.
Nice. After that, we got Mississippi laying 10, taking on Florida. Joe, you took Mississippi. Eric took Florida. Frank took Mississippi, and I took Florida.
Let's do this.
Next, we got James Franklin in Penn State. I fucking hate James Franklin with a passion. You know that. Laying 12, taking on Row the Boat in Minnesota. You guys all took Penn State. I took Minnesota.
Motherfucker.
After that, we got BYU taking on Arizona State, with Arizona State laying 3.5. Joe, you and Eric took BYU. Me and Frank took Arizona State.
Shut up. I hate you.
Next, we got Fighting Deion Sanders taking on Kansas, with Colorado laying 3. We all took Colorado.
Stop it, Chris. You're making it hard.
Still a funny one. Next, we got Pitt taking on Louisville. Louisville laying 8. You and Eric took Pitt. Me and Frank took Louisville.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
I hope not. Next, we got the Battle of Southern California, with USC laying 4.5, taking on UCLA. We all took the Trojans.
Everyone in this room is now dumber.
Next, we got Northwestern taking on Michigan, with Michigan laying 12.5. You guys took Michigan. I took Northwestern.
Hey, Old Man River, zip it or I'll break your hip.
And the last game on the college slate, Indiana taking on Ohio State, with Ohio State laying 13. Joe, you took Ohio State. Eric took Indiana. Frank took Ohio State. And I took Indiana.
Well, the world needs ditch diggers, too.
Moving on to the NFL slate, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers laying 3.5, taking on your Cleveland Browns. I think the Browns have absolutely quit.
Absolutely.
So I am taking the Pittsburgh Steelers. We all took the Pittsburgh Steelers in this one.
It was in international waters, so they couldn't prosecute him, but I saw it.
Next, we got the Minnesota Vikings laying 3.5, taking on the Chicago Bears. Joe, you and I took Chicago. Frank and Eric took the Vikings.
It's the Catalina fucking wine mixer.
Next, we got Arizona laying 1, taking on the Seahawks. Joe, you and Frank took the Seahawks. Me and Eric took Arizona.
Like Kobayashi.
Next, we got the 49ers taking on the Packers. Green Bay is laying 2. You and Eric took San Francisco. Me and Frank took Green Bay.
Mana, the meatloaf!
Next, we got Philly laying 3, taking on the Rams. Joe, you are on the Lonely Island here. You took the Rams. The rest of us took the Eagles.
Why don't you go back to your home on Whore Island?
Nice. Next, we got Baltimore laying 3, taking on the Chargers. You guys all took Baltimore. I took the Chargers.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And the final game on the NFL slate, the biggest game of the week, per usual, the Detroit Lions laying 7.5, taking on the Indianapolis Colts. We all took the Lions.
I said the Lions won a game. Man, we going all the way. Baby. We about to celebrate. Why? Because the Lions won a game, bitch.
Still an all-timer. I love that. And those are this week's picks.
Yeah. By the way, I found out where the numbers are wrong. You were actually 6-3, not 6-2. That's where the numbers were wrong. Yours is one off. So you would be 103 and 100.
Still over 500. Unlike
Still over 500.
Unlike you losers.
Fuck off. I've admitted I'm not good at this. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
I said y'all wanted to give me shit when I had like the worst week ever.
Yeah. So I just had consistent not good weeks mixed in with some good ones. You've had good weeks with one really fucking bad week. That was where your numbers are at.
Yeah.
One really, really bad week.
But we back.
I keep it consistent.
We back. I mean? Consistently bad.
Consistently not good. not consistently bad. Just consistently not good. You know what I mean? Like I'm consistently mid.
Okay.
Or slightly below mid.
Slightly below mid. There you go. You're mid adjacent.
I'm mid adjacent.
You're mid adjacent.
It's so bad.
Yes.
On that note, anything else you want to get into today?
No, I think I hit everything I wanted to hit.
Same here. Give us a like, a share, and a follow on our social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. You can find all of our podcasts at your favorite podcast provider. Check out SOTDET.com. While you're there, click on all of our sponsors' links. Go check them out and patronize them, please. We appreciate all of them. Again, that's SOTDET.com, and click on our sponsors' links. Click on shop while you're there. Buy some stuff. We'd appreciate that. It would support us. Again, SOTDET.com. On behalf of Chris, I'm Joe. We are Sports on Tap Detroit. See you next Tuesday.
And that is it for us today.
No! God, please, no!
Bye. Have a great time.
No! God!
Bye, guys.
No. Bye, buddy.
No!
Goodbye.
No!
Goodbye.
No!
It's never goodbye.
Hey,
You know, we've been through our ups and been through our downs.
And you were meant to be here tonight.
You guys will always be in my heart.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
I think the most important part is that we all stay together throughout.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Live. Fight like hell. The best thing I have ever done, the best thing I will ever do, is be a dad.
God, I love you guys. Mamba out.